Hi everybody, welcome to week 6. Let's go ahead and get started. We have a nice easy week in week 6. So you've got only 2 projects this week and they both happen to be independent projects. I will go ahead in just a second here in this video and complete and show you how to do independent project 5.5. This week, I really highly encourage you to go ahead and start that reading first, as there are some tricky parts to both of your projects. And as you know, guided projects really do guide you through the process, and there's a lot of instruction, further instructions on where to find certain things, whereas the independents do not. Don't take your quiz until after you've completed the 2 projects in addition to the reading. Again, there are some tricky parts this week. Go ahead and bring up your resource file. I will tell you that there are 2 videos this week. My computer only allows 1, so you'll have to go ahead and save both of those videos and see which program or which video you're able to download, if you will. I believe mine is the WMV. It just depends on what kind of computer you have and what's already previously downloaded onto your movies for you and able to, in order for you to use one of those. There is a picture, and so you'll also need to save that to your pictures folder or your desktop. And your videos, go ahead and put those in your videos. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at everything. Go ahead and save. Fastest way to save, I've been telling you the last few weeks, is F12 as a save as, instead of going through the Backstage view. And let's take a look at this. We have 9 slides that we're going to be using. And so now you should be done with number 1 for saving your project. Let's take a look at question or instruction number 2. It appears that we're going to be creating an animated sequence. 2A says, on slide 2, select the text box with 90%. Make sure you've got that solid line and not the dotted line going around the entire box. And now let's apply the grow and turn entrance effect. Then change the start setting to after previous. Transition refers to the entire slide itself. Animation will refer to a particular object on the slide. So in this case, we will be doing some animating. We're going to be animating this text box here. So it says to go ahead and click grow and turn in the entrance effect. So entrance and then grow and turn. Change the start setting to after previous. And now we're going to select the call-out shape with 13. And again, make sure you've got that solid line going around. Apply the zoom entrance effect. So click your More button, and now you're going to go to zoom underneath the entrance group. So zoom. Change start to after previous. And the duration should be 1. And these are easy points to gain and also easy points to lose when you're taking that final. So be careful. Make sure that you read what's on the test. If it says 1.00, make sure you've got that in there. The delay appears to be 0.75, so not quite a full second. Now we're going to use the animation painter to apply this animation to the call out with 12. Change the delay to 1/4 of a second. So you will need to go back and click on 13, that object. The animation painter happens to be located here. The animation painter allows you to apply that effect to other objects in your presentation. So it's kind of like copying what we've just done here, and that's exactly what it is. It is different, let me go back to the Home tab, than the Format Painter. You're copying the format, but for the animation, we just want to copy the animation, so just click it once. You may recall that clicking it twice leaves it on, and we're able to do multiple paint jobs, if you will, or copying of animation. We just want to do 12. Now, don't forget in 12, we also need to change it to 0.25 for the delay. Now go ahead and use the Animation Painter again to apply this animation to the remaining callouts, continuing in a clockwise order. Clockwise, think about how a clock looks in a classroom. We're going clockwise. So double click, you'll do 21. See how it's staying on? 18, 11, and 14. Don't forget to turn it off. And that's just clicking it one time turns it off. Let's test this animation in the slide view. So down in your slide sorter, and let's take a look here. And it looks like we've got that move right. Okay, hit your escape key. Let's take a look at number 3 now. Create an animated sequence, including a chart. On slide 3, you are going to select the pie chart and apply the will entrance effect. Again, we're not doing a transition. The transition is for the actual slide. We're doing animations. Here, though, we need to select the pie chart. Select the entire chart. And you can tell this is the chart area, so we've got that big selection going around. And we're going to do the will entrance effect. Click your More button, and we want the will entrance effect. Change the effect options by category. And the start to after previous. And the duration is 1.5. Select the text box on the left, and make sure you select it, and apply the grow and turn entrance effect. Grow and turn. Change the start to after previous. Now select the text box on the bottom right and apply the grow and turn entrance. Change the start setting to after previous and the delay to 1 second. And make sure it's the delay and not duration. Again, those are easy points to lose. Make sure you read the entire question first and take your time picking the right and the correct buttons to push. Let's go ahead and test the animation in slideshow view. Okay. Now, number 4 says apply 2 animation effects that display together. This animation tab allows you to create one animation on this slide. To add multiple animations to the same object, you would use the Add animation. And if you hover over these buttons, it actually tells you. So this Add animation can be applied after any existing animations on this slide. That's why you would use this. So that's the difference between Add animation and animation. Again, I go back to make sure that you read your chapter reading before doing any of the projects, as you will learn that in there. Okay, so on 4A it says on slide 5, select the cool shape, click the Add Animation button, and apply a fade entrance. Change the start setting to after previous, and change the duration to 3 seconds. Click the Add Animation button again and apply the bounce. And I'm just going to select him again. Add Animation. And now we're going to do the bounce entrance. Change the start with previous. and the duration is 3. So both effects last the same amount of time. Use the Animation Painter to apply these effects to the cool shape on slide 6. So you can see over here that I do have another cool shape in 6. I'm going to go ahead and select this cool shape that we just added those 2 animations, and I'm going to click the Animation Painter. I am not going to use my scroll bar. That'll turn it off. I'm going to use my page down on my keypad. And then you can tell that it's still on. You can see my paintbrush as I hover over cool, and then I'm just going to select it. Now, on slide 6, we are going to click the Transition tab because we're going to change the transition of this entire slide. So Transition, and we're going to apply the Dissolve Transition effect. I'm going to click open my More button, and we want Dissolve. Let's increase the duration to 2 full seconds. This will help to emphasize slide 5 changing to slide 6. All right, let's take a look at number 6 now. Let's go to slide 8. Let me scroll down. And let's select this entire SmartArt. Here you will want to make sure that once you do click somewhere on here that you've got all of it. And I can tell you right now that I have heart disease selected in this SmartArt, not the entire graph. And you can see that my radial buttons also go around heart disease. So I'm just going to click on the outside. Now I've got the entire chart selected, or the graph selected. Let's apply the wipe entrance effect. So Animation, my More button, we want to look at our entrance, and we're going to apply wipe. Change the effects options from left, go back in there and change it level 1 by 1. Change start to after previous, and the duration should be 1 second. Number 7 says we're going to insert, resize, and format a video. This is where it could get slightly tricky, so I am going to go just slightly slower than I normally would. Go ahead and go to slide 9. You do need to insert the video that we saved. So you're inserting something. Normally we insert pictures, but this time we're going to do a video. So over on the right hand side in your ribbon underneath the tab Insert, in the media group is video. Go ahead and click your drop down arrow. We want to insert a video from my PC. Wherever you saved your videos is where you're going to pick those up from. And you can see that I have quite a few in here. This one is not going to quite do it for me. This is the one that I'm going to need to take, and you can see on my screen that it says .wmv. That's the one that works for me. If I had chose this one, you can see that it's saying upgrading this media file to optimize compatibility and playback. So I'm just going to cancel that. I wanted to show you what it says if you do run into inserting the wrong video. This video works better for my computer. Now let's increase the size of the video. As soon as you put in any kind of an object, you will have a tools pop up because it's a video. This is video tools. We're already in the format because we're formatting something. Go down to the far right underneath of size, and it says 4 inches, and then let the width automatically adjust itself. The video quality is not high enough to display well at a larger size without too much distortion. Now let's go ahead and see it says to move the video to the center of the slide. It says move, and I want to be clear. Don't center it and click on your keys or your in your home tab to center. It says to pick it up and move it. Just eyeball it. Now let's go ahead and click the poster frame button. I don't recall that we've used this yet because it's the first time we've been using some videos. That is not a video style. It's an actual button underneath the Video Tools Format tab in the Adjust group. So poster frame. Now we're going to select Image from File. And this is a pretty cool I guess step, if you will. We can actually insert a picture on this. The only way to do that though is to use this poster frame button. So let's go ahead and from File, look for the Lungs-05 picture that you downloaded and go ahead and insert that. So the video is still there, however now we've put a picture on top of that, which is pretty neat. Now let's go ahead and apply the beveled frame gradient on this to make the appearance just a little bit different. You will need to be in your Video Tools, and we're going to go into the Video Styles. And I wrote a side note. This is in the Subtle group, and on your instructions it has it in the brackets. It says Subtle group. So make sure that when you're taking the test and you're looking around and around instead of trying to click on all of them, look for those keywords: subtle group, moderate, or intense. Ours happens to be the fourth one in that the first row. So beveled frame and then gradient. Now select Rewind after playing. So we're not formatting anymore. We're looking underneath the Video Tools. We're going to go to the playback. And here's where you will find video options. We're also going to click here. So rewind after playing. Let's go ahead and test this video in the slideshow. And I'm going to click play.
Research throughout the last few decades has demonstrated significant health risks associated with cigarettes.
Just for kicks, I'm going to go to the end. And now it's rewound itself, so that if I wanted to go back to the slide, that's why you would use that, and it's already back to the very beginning. That's a nice feature to use. Let's now prepare a menu slide with the hyperlinked shapes. And I'm on number 8. So after slide 1, go ahead and scroll up, and I'm going to click right in between 1 and 2. We are going to insert a new slide with a blank layout. So new slide, blank layout. We're going to draw a rounded rectangle. Last week we did use the Shapes button and we did a rectangle. Now we're going to use a rounded rectangle. And the pointer is ready to start drawing, so it is got that little plus sign. I'm going to go ahead and draw that first shape. And we want to type in early smoking is dangerous. Be sure to make not to lose any points. Again, capital E, capital S, capital I, and then a capital D for each of those words. Let's increase the font size to 28. And now I'm going to reshape that just a little bit with those reshape handles there. And then we're going to apply the Intense Effect Black Dark 1 Shape Style. So shape style, think about this. We're using drawing tools because we just drew something. We need to format it now. Here's your Shape Styles group. Go ahead and click your More button. These are themes, or theme styles. So it said in parentheses to look for intense, so we're doing a theme style, and so we want intense, effect, black, dark 1. Now, while this is still selected, use Control D. Control D is duplicating. We're not copying, we're duplicating, and I'm going to move that down just slightly. And then it wants you to type smoking related diseases. And make sure that you've got your caps where they need to go. Don't forget the hyphen, and make sure there are no misspellings. Select the first shape, and we're gonna go ahead and give this a hyperlink, and we're gonna hyperlink this to slide 5, which is a pretty neat feature. So slide 5 is called At One Time It Was Considered. That's the slide. So let's go ahead and do a right click to bring up our mini toolbar. Go down to hyperlink. Let's take a look here and see what we've got. We've got link to. We can display some text, but we're not going to use that today. We're in an existing file or web page. Well, we don't want to do that. We definitely want to place it in this document, or in this case, not document, but presentation. We don't want to create a new one, and we don't want to email it. So go ahead and click Place in this document, and it's said to select slide 3, and you see that it pops up in the slide preview window, and go ahead and click OK. Let's do the smoking-related disease. The second shape, we're going to hyperlink to slide 8. This one is slightly trickier, and the reason why is because in place in this document, you might have to scroll down just a little bit, so make sure that you do that. So go ahead and click on slide 8, and then that's it. So not too tricky, just use your scroll bar if yours does not happen to appear in there. Okay, let's move on to number 9 now. We're going to create action buttons on the slide master to provide navigation. Make sure you're at the top. Go ahead and go to your View tab and select your slide master. Now, we're not at the top. You see my scroll bar, there is a little bit of blank area here. Scroll up to the top, select your slide master. In the Shapes gallery, we are going to select the forward or next shape. That is found in the Home tab. And here's your Shapes group. Down at the very bottom, these are your action buttons, and I love using these. So this one, the second one, is your forward or next, and now we're going to draw a shape. Go ahead and don't put it anywhere on here. You're going to have to move it down anyway next to the cigarette, and leave space for another action button. We're going to actually do 3. So we're going to put it about right in here. Go ahead and draw that. And an action settings dialog box pops up every time you use those action buttons. I love using these. These are so cool. So it automatically says hyperlink to. Well, what are we going to link back to if someone actually clicks on this button? Well, we want to go to the next slide. Remember, the name of the shape is forward or next. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So leave that alone. That's just a default. Go ahead and click OK. The rest of the information, instructions in letter B, says to make sure that it's set at 0.4 for the height and the width. 0.4. Now we're going to repeat the same step, but this time you're going to pick back or previous. The cool thing about already using this button once, instead of going to the Home tab, you will notice that we're in the Format tab underneath the Drawing Tools. We have those shapes pop up on the far left in the Insert Shapes group. So this will save you a little bit of time. Instead of clicking back to the Home tab, go ahead and click that. This time, because we know we're going the opposite way, I'm going to put it just to the left. Again, the action settings dialog box pops up. I love how it automatically defaults to hyperlink to the previous slide. Again, the name of this button is called Back or Previous, so we don't have to change anything here. Just go ahead and click OK. Don't forget to change the shape to 0.4 for height and width. And now let's create one more action button. This one we want the home shape, so click your More button. The Home button actually has a house on it. Let's just put it to the right of that very first one, which was previous. Let's open it up. Here's where it's slightly confusing. So the action settings default, the dialog box pops up and it says hyperlink to the first slide. So this in the instructions in D says link to slide 2. Normally you would, when you're using the home button, link back to the first slide, but we don't want to do that. We want to go to slide 2. Click the drop down box, go to slide, and then select slide title, slide 2, and then OK. And then push OK again. Let's go ahead and set the height and the width to 0.4 one last time. And because these are not lined up and spaced the right way, I'm just going to kind of take a look at those and make sure they're all spaced the same way. And then in 9E, it says select all 3, control, and then click all 3. And that's your control button. And then we're going to apply the Intense Effect Aqua Accent 4 Shape Style. We're already in our drawing tools. We know we have to format something. Click your More button, and here you will find in the last row, the 5th column, Intense Effect Aqua Accent 4. F says to position the 3 shapes at the bottom of the slide near the cigarette, which if you followed my instructions, you would have done that already. Go ahead and close the Slide Master view. So Slide Master, close the master view. And now you can see that we've got those buttons on each one, on each slide. I love using the Slide Master button. So instead of changing, a couple of slides, we're able to use that in one fell swoop. It's like, what's the saying? You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So, all right, we are just about done. We've got one last piece of instruction to follow. All of you will have this at least one time and probably at the tail end of your final. It's important to know how to use this, and it does spell it out in your book. So I'm not going to walk you through it and read the instructions, but I will show you how to do it. But make sure that you understand why you were doing this last step. We want to optimize and compress the video using the internet quality. So in your Backstage view, which is in the File tab, you will see underneath the Info tab, we have a few things going. Here is your optimized media compatibility. And it says here, are you planning to deliver this presentation on another computer? Well, just play this out. If you were in your job and you created this video, yeah, you probably would, because you're going to be presenting it somewhere else. Well, optimizing media compatibility can improve your experience, and that's why you would use this. So go ahead and click the button, let it do its thing. Now it says complete, that's our status. Media files are now optimized for compatibility. Click your close. In the final instructions on the second half of number 10, it says compress the media using internet quality. You can save disk space and improve playback performance by compressing your media files. So compression might affect media quality. But go ahead and click the More button. We want for internet quality. So quality will be comparable to media which is streamed over the internet. Let it do its thing again. Here's another dialog box, compress, and it says status already compressed. And then just click close. Go back, make sure that you've saved this, and I'm going to go ahead and let me just do one quick thing here. Let's upload. Alrighty, and hopefully I got this right. All right, so take your time on Independent 5-6. There are a couple of tricky parts to that one as well. I didn't score 100 the first time I did it. And by the way, this is instructor view. If you're ever wondering about why does mine look a little bit different, I'm in the instructor view. But you can see that I did this previously and I scored a 96. I think I missed something on 3A So just take your time when you're reading the instructions. That always helps. Preparing results, and I did get 100 this time around. So if you get stuck, be sure to use the Ask My Instructor tab. I wish you all well and have a great week 6.